Hey viewers, and today we're going to be doing an epic journey of making a project for the virtual date app. So we're going to be kicking it off from the design system to the wireframes to the concept and then to the prototype. So potentially it's going to be a 4-part series. I hope you can join me for this and practice along. Again, if you are struggling to find a job or your first client, there is so much competition out there for design, web design, product design, and the bigger the company you're going for, the more competition you're going to have. So to stand out, why not try and make a project based on that startup or their industry? So as an example, the project that we're doing is a dating app. So if you're applying to go to Bumble, for example, Tinder, or another smaller startup in that niche, then hopefully you will stand out. And if it's not just a concept, you're going to have a whole user journey, wireframes, explaining your rationale behind the decisions, then hopefully you will stand out. So let's get into the video. Okay, so just to kick it off, just to show you here what we're going to try and create. So here we got a very basic wireframe, and this is all taken or inspired from Bumble, and this is the different screens when you sign up, but this is just one example. And then we have a concept here, which is when you see the other person, you have the three options: not liking, favoriting, and liking, for example. And because we're targeting the tech community, we're going to have their title below their name. Very simple stuff. So just to be organized, I've put down the different parts that we're going to tackle before we get into the video. So the main thing here is we're going to start off with the design system, and hopefully this is going to be very simple. It's not going to be so in-depth. And then we're going to do the wireframe, which is potentially 16 screens. It sounds a lot, but when we have this in place, it will hopefully speed it up. And then the last thing is the concept. And then at the end, we're going to try and join it all together and do a prototype, a very simple prototype. So now we're starting off with the design system. And this, what we're going to achieve here is the phone frame and little things like the time at the top that you've got here, a home indicator, which is what you got down here. This is for iOS. We're going to create textiles, buttons with an icon, input with an icon, and then icons, all from Tailwind CSS UI. Okay, so let's kick this off with, so hit the F key. We are going to have our frame as the iPhone X. And what we're going to do, we're going to give it a radius of 40 just to give it that phone silhouette look. And also, if you haven't noticed, the background of the artboard, I've made it a very light grey. And the phone here is, well, let's actually make it a second darker grey to stand out a bit more. There we go. Okay, so now it stands out a bit more. So we have the iPhone frame, very simply, and we're just putting 40 border radius. And then the next thing to do is the time indicator. So what that is we got a height of 44 pixels. I'm just referring to some of my notes. So I'm going to hit the text tool, and I'm just going to put the typical 941. Actually, yeah, so time 941, and we're going to say this is around 16 pixels, and it's going to be bold. And the other thing we're going to grab is the wireless icon. So I'm just going to copy that from Tailwind and bring that, just paste it in. I'll copy it again because we're gonna, at the end, we're gonna have an icon design. We're gonna have icons for a design system. So what I'll do here is I'll select this and the time. I'll hit Shift A. This will put it into an auto layout, and I'm gonna get rid of that spacing. I'm gonna say space between. Now I'm gonna give it a width of 375. And we are also gonna, now if I align this to the left, we can't give it a fixed height. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do Command G, and in that group I'll say the height is about 44. And then we then want this to align in the middle, and it doesn't. So we try that again. Okay, so you select this frame and we then align that in the middle. There we go. And we want the padding on the left and the right to be 24 pixels. And this is probably not precise, but again, we're practicing. We're just having a rough guide on where the time and the battery and the Wi-Fi is at the top. And then we are just going to align it at the top, very simply. And then is the home indicator. So the home indicator is something you have right down at the bottom. Straight away we are going to get the line tool. We're going to click and drag. We're just going to say 72 times by 2. I don't know the exact width, but we're just using 8-point grid. We're going to make this around 4 pixels, and we're going to give it a round cap. Okay, so nothing too crazy. We can even say 6, and if we line out at the bottom, we're going to then say minus 16. So now that should push it up exactly 16 pixels. Okay, so don't worry about being perfect, but this is just to give us an idea of some of the basic elements on an iPhone. So the next thing to do is textiles. Okay, so we're going to do this very quickly. So we hit the T, and we're going to say text hyphen base, and we are going to make that regular. And the line height, we're going to go with 24. So 16 and 24. And what we're going to do is we are just going to copy, and actually no, we're going to turn that into an auto layout. So Shift A. Let me just properly align this because it's not aligned. There we go. Okay, so here we are just going to copy paste. We're going to stack them, and we're going to do this 6 times. So let's see if I can count. 3, 4, 5, 6. God, I can't count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Okay, so extra small, small, base, medium, large, and extra large. This is the naming convention. Again, Tailwind CSS is great with this stuff. And we are going to make that 14, and the line height, let's say 18. This is going to be 16. We keep it at 24. The base, we're going to actually make it 18. Keep the line height at 24. Medium, we're going to say 24. And then we're going to make that 32 line height. This one, we're going to say 40. And the line height on that is going to be 48. This one is going to be a 48. And it's going to be 56 line height. So these are all our potential text styles that we're going to do. And to do that, all we need to do is, just scratch my neck there. So all we're going to do now is we are going to convert these to textiles. So if you just double click on that and hit the plus icon there, we just paste that name in, create style, Command A, Command C, do that again, create style, and we do the medium, and we do the large, and finally we have extra large. Okay, so now when you click out of the frame, you can see here your different textiles, which is really cool. So we've got a basic frame, we have our textiles, next is buttons. So again, hit the T, we're going to quickly go here, we're going to say button, and we are going to go with the base. Oops, so we have to actually select, oops, sorry, doing this wrong. Yeah, so text base, I'm not sure why that is bold to be actually. Text base, oh wow, it's going freaky. Let me just start again. Okay, so now we do the button, we're going to hit the text tool, and we're just going to say button, and this is on text base, and what we're going to do is we're going to do Shift A, and what we're going to do is we're going to straight away make this the black version just so we can see, or the dark version. We're just changing the field to dark grey, and then the lightest grey, and we are just going to remove that 10 there. Now the padding, we're going to say 8, 24, 8 and 24. We're going to make the border radius of 8, and iOS, they recommend having at least a height of 44. So we are going to just get rid of this text base. We're going to just make the height bigger, 28 line height. So now we have at least a 44 height. So what we're going to do is straight away convert this into a component, but before that we want a button with an icon, and what that icon might be is things like an arrow for select. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Tailwind, and we are going to grab this icon here, and we're just going to go in the frame, I'm going to paste it in, and we're going to make that the lightest grey. And now we need to vertically align it in the middle. We want this to fill container, and the width is already set. So what we want to do actually is have a spacing between here. So let's say 8 pixels. Oop. Did I do that right? Yeah, I did do that right. Hug contents. There seems to be a set width on here for some reason. That one is hug contents. Okay. So hug contents, this one is the icon. We have our first button with an icon, and we are going to convert this to a component. So all you have to do is Alt Command K, and we're going to just call that button, and then we are going to unlock the variants. So hit the variant, and this one we're going to call light. So for example, we're just going to change the fill to white. We are going to then change that to dark, and also the icon with selection colors, we also go to dark as well. We have the light, we have the default, and there's also going to be a primary color, and that primary color I know is rose red or rose 500, from tailwind, see if this works actually. Yeah, it works. That's primary. We can have another one, which here we're going to call disabled. And we're going to fill that with grey 400. Very simple, nothing crazy. And we're also going to do another one, which is outline. So here we are just going to remove the fill. We're going to add a stroke of 2 pixels, and we're going to make the selection colors dark, the darkest grey. And then lastly, we might have one without anything, so we could just call it link. Let's make sure I name that right. Outline. This one will be called link. There is no fill, but these are going to be dark grey. Okay, so that is our button component, and we have 6 variants. And then we are also going to do inputs. Wow, we're coming up to 20 minutes. Okay, that's good for part 1. So again, what we're going to do is hit the text tool. We just call this input. Again, we should start from the base. So if we go to text base, and that arrow icon, we'll just add that up there. We're starting to build our little collection of icons, and just make that dark grey. Ooh, it seemed to do it all there as well. Well, anyway, not to worry. Actually, let's revert that. So Command Z to undo, Command Z again. So anyway, so now we're going to do the input, and again we just do Shift A, and what we're going to do is we are going to make the background white with a border radius of 8, and actually we're going to make these full round. So let's see if this works. So if I make this 22, it only does it for that one, because they are all variants. So again, I'm going with full rounded border radius because of the brown, which is round, the heart is round, so why not make the buttons nice and round. This one here, we're not going to make this fully round, but the height is 44, which is great. That text is going to be slightly light grey because it's a placeholder text. Let's say grey 400. And if we get rid of that there, now the padding is going to be the same, 8, 24, 8 and 24. We want it to be from the left. Actually, let's say 8. No, let's say 16. Let's say 8 because the spacing might be quite tight. Okay, so we have an input, and we also want an icon for the input just in case. So we are going to just copy that one, paste it inside. Again, you want to have a bit of spacing there, so 8. And I think, yeah, so is there anything else on the inputs? So input with an icon. So we're probably not going to do so much validation and different styles, but we're going to do this anyway. So Option Command K, and we're just going to label that as input. And then we're going to also unlock the variants, but before we do that, we need to have a border just in case. Actually, no, we don't. But yeah, so what we can do is unlock the variants, and this one is going to be, let's say, active. when it's active, we are then going to have a border radius of 1. When it's active, we're going to say it's going to be blue 500. And this text will also become darker when it's active. Okay. And another quite simple one is we've also got error. And error, we're going to do a stroke, and it's going to be, we're just going to use rose red. These are very simple inputs, and also actually we probably should put a label at least, but for now we won't. We're just putting in the inputs, and then we're probably going to need one called success, and we're going to say the stroke is going to be green. So again, I'm always on the 500 range, and there we go, that is success. We are also going to need a disabled one, so let's say that is grey 300. Okay, that looks pretty disabled to me, but you can't, the contrast is not that great. So again, I'm just roughly playing around with, okay, maybe 600, is that looking okay? So we have our inputs with icons, and again, this is probably not the best way, but hey, you know, we're practicing. We've built a very small design system, and then the last thing is we're going to get the icons. So we got the Wi-Fi. We are going to need a heart, a star, and an X. So we are going to need a heart. We're going to need a tick as well. So I'm just going to grab these whilst I'm here. Grab that one anyway. And we need the heart. We are going to need the X, and we're going to need the star. So if I Command C, and I'm going to just paste. Okay, zoom out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just, this is a lazy way of doing it, select all of them, Shift A. Okay, that's pretty cool. So Shift A immediately is going to put everything in order. Bit chaotic, but 24 between. Okay, so we got all our basic icons that we're going to need, and of course we're going to need the logo, right? We're going to need the chat bubble, and we're going to need the profile and the lock. Chat bubble, profile, and lock. Profile. Lock as well. I'm holding shift down, and the chat bubble, which is that one, Command C, and we're just going to paste that randomly somewhere. We want to Command C. Let's see if I select that frame, paste it in. Nice, puts it all in order. We just say icons. Okay, so now we're just labeling these. So if you do have a developer, even though this is so early, and we can just label these, right? Font styles, icons. We haven't thought about color yet because we're just focusing on the wireframe. The color essentially is going to be rose red or red 500. So again, here we got all the different icons, and let's think now. So if I go to assets, we can see here, yeah, we need to actually convert all of these to components, and some of them already are components because it is taken from Tailwind. So we're just going to leave that for now. So now we got a bunch of icons except for the logo. So let's get the logo. So we are going to go with the small version, which is hiding here. We're going to copy that, and we are going to go back to wireframes. Even though this is not wireframes, this is a design system. We'll paste that. So here is the logo. We're going to make it dark. We're just going to copy that in here, and that is bigger than everything else. So we are going to make these small as well, but just to see how big the heart is, it is at 18 width. Okay, so if we made that 18 height, does that even make sense to do it like that? No. So everything is 24 by 24. So if I do Command G, and if I then hit this button here, which is now a component, I'll just say logo, or you say logo icon. Now let's see if this does anything. 24. Okay, so it plays with the height and everything else, which we don't want it to. So I'll just do Command G for group. Let's see if this works. At 24 still messes up. If I lock it, I have a feeling it's still going to do it. See, 24. Okay, yeah, so it still messes up. Anyway, as it shows, I'm still learning, so always learn, never stop learning. That is just the key if you want to make it in as a web designer. It's just constant learning. Anyway, so I'll just get rid of that because we have that here at least, but I'm going to copy paste it, delete that one. We'll just call that logo icon. Okay, so we've reached 30 minutes. Whew, and we've done our design system for the virtual date. Okay, so in the next video we are then gonna tackle wireframes. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you in the next video.